Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. We are going to take a look at all of the equipment in the premium expansion and all the new buildings that come with this pack. So that is the goal of this video. It's not going to be super in depth about what exactly everything does, because there's a lot of different harvesters and how they all function and everything like that for the new crops. Some of that I don't even know yet until I experiment a little bit more with them, kind of test them out. So just be aware of that. The goal is just to just show you what's in the pack. So we're going to look at all of it in person in a second. We're going to start off in the store. So if I go into the store under premium expansion, we do have the pickup 1984 90 horsepower, 49 miles per hour. If we go into here, we can do different wheel tire setups. We have a few different ones in there. We can adjust the main color to any of this. The design color, which is going to be that back bed there to this, and the rim color, of course, you can adjust however you'd like, and then license plate. So a few different adjustments there. Then we have the Solic Winia 57 HTD Excellent. This is 59 horsepower, drives at 18 miles per hour, and weighs 1.4 tons, and you can add a license plate to it if you'd like. Moving on, we have the Zeter Crystal 16045, 58,500 to buy, 150 horsepower, runs at 15 miles an hour, and weighs 5 tons. If we go in here, we can adjust the wheel brand from Trailerborg, Michelin, Continental, Midas, BKT, Vertestein, and then back to Trailerborg, and then we have a couple different options in there as well. I believe there's some twin wheel options there as well if you wanted to do that. You can add a front weight to the front of various sizes if you'd like to, all the way down to 240 in there. You can adjust the main color to the Zeter Blue if you'd like to as well, and then do a license plate. We have the Fiat 16090 DT, 91,500 to buy, has a range of 160 to 180 horsepower, depending on what engine customization you put in it. So we have that. 24 miles per hour is how fast it's going to drive, and it's going to weigh 6.7 tons. If we do go into here, we can adjust the engine again from 160 to 180 horsepower. We also have several trailer brands, so it's tire brands in here as well. So a lot of different tire brands in there for you, and then different wheel configurations as well. I believe there's a dual on this one. I could be wrong about that. Let's just see real quick. Maybe not. Maybe this one does not have duals on it. There we go. Twin wheels on Michelin. There we go. So it does exist. Fender, yes or no on the front, and you can add a front loader to this piece of equipment too if you'd like to. And then, of course, license plates. Moving on, we have a couple of different Samaz mowers here. So the first one is kind of your front mower attachment. This is the Samaz KDF 341S. It's $14,000 to buy. Requires 110 horsepower, is working with a 3.4 meters, and runs at 13 miles per hour. If we go in here, there are no configurations. Moving on to the Samaz, we have the KDD 941 STH, 70,500 to buy. So not a bad deal for that kind of mower setup. Requires 220 horsepower to run, weighs 3.8 tons, 9.4 meter working width, and it runs at 13 miles per hour. If we go in here, there's also no customizations for it. Moving on, we have the Samaz P8 890, 16,500 to buy. This is a tedder up here, so you can see it's a tedder up there. So this is going to ted your grass into hay. Requires 60 horsepower, weighs 1.3 tons, has 8.9 meter working width, and runs at 9 miles per hour. If we go in here, you can do a boundary system, yes or no, which adds those guys on the back there. But there you go. Next, we have the Gorank. So these guys are a couple of weeders that we have in the game. So this one here is the Gorank Polar 450, only $4,000 to buy, requires 45 horsepower, weighs 498 kilograms, has a working width of 4.5 meters at 7 miles per hour. If we go in here, there's no customizations for it. Moving on, we have the Gorank Polar 600, 6,500 to buy, requires 60 horsepower. It weighs 668 kilograms. Is that okay? Yeah, just a little bit more than that one there. 6 meter working width, and runs at 7 miles per hour. We also have the there's also no configurations as well. Next, we have the Farm Tech DDK at 2400. It costs you $29,500 to buy. It has a capacity between 14 and 28,000 liters, and it weighs 7 tons, and it can hold just basically any crop. It's a bulk trailer. So if we go in here, we have the 28,000 liter extension. Then we have a bale trailer configuration, 14,000, and then we have the 28. And then we have Continental, Trailerborg, Michelin, BKT, Vertestein, and Continental tires in there for you. Cover, yes or no, and then you can change the color cover to yellow if you'd like to put that color on. So there you go, and it has license plates as well. Moving on, we have the Unia Apollo 16 Premium, $50,000 to buy. Requires 150 horsepower, holds 20,000 liters, weighs 5.9 tons, 12 meter working width at 9 miles per hour, and it holds manure because, well, it's a manure spreader. If we go in here, we can adjust the tire configuration from Trailerborg, Michelin, Continental, BKT, Vertestein, and then back to Trailerborg. They all just have the standard configuration there, plus license plates on there for you. Moving on to more Unia products, we have this guy right here. This is a disc harrow. This is the Unia Eras XL. This is $21,000 to buy. It requires 150 horsepower, weighs 3.1 tons, has a working width of 4.5 meters at 11 miles per hour. We go in here, no configurations for you. Though I will note with this, it does fold up. You can see the pistons on there, and when you buy it, it does come out folded up. So that is very nice about that. Next up, we have this guy right here. This is the Unia Phoenix 3000/4, $55,000 to buy. This is a direct drill seeder, which is pretty cool. Just as your basic seeding crops. Requires 140 horsepower, holds 3,000 liters of seed. It weighs 6.5 tons, 3-meter working width, runs at 9 miles per hour. And if we go in here, the only configuration you have is the license plate. Next, we have the Farmettes. So we have the Farmette Softer 11 PS, $95,000 to buy. This is a disc harrow. This is requiring a 330 horsepower, weighs 9.2 tons, runs at 10.5 meters at 11 miles per hour. And if we go into here, we do have a couple of configurations. We have license plate as well as Trailerborg BKT tires for you. Those are the only two, and both in standard. Next, we have the Farmette Phantom 1250 Pro, also a cultivator here for us. Not a shallow cultivator, I guess I should say. This is an actual cultivator. $102,000 to buy, requires 550 horsepower. It weighs 14.4 tons, and it has a 12.3 meter working width at 9 miles per hour. If we go into the configurations, you just have the license plates available to configure for you. Next up, we have the Farmette. This one actually I really like a lot. This is the Farmette Falcon 6 Pro FERT Plus. This thing is a direct drill seeder, and this thing also fertilizes. So it requires 220 horsepower, holds 6,000 liters of fertilizer and seed, weighs 9 tons, 6-meter working width at 9 miles per hour. So pretty effective, I think. Not a lot of horsepower, not super expensive. Pretty good seeder, especially considering it fertilizes as well. And again, it just does your basic seeding crops. If we go into here, the only customization you have, excuse me, I can't talk today for whatever reason. Never. Can't talk anymore. It's over. Customization you have is license plates for you. Next up, moving into the Bednar products, which we've had in the game for a while, we have a cultivator to start. This is the Bednar Ktar KN 8000Q Profi, $55,000 to buy, 350 horsepower required, weighs 5.7 tons, has an 8-meter working width at 7 miles per hour. I believe this is kind of like a power harrow if you take a look at it, so it kind of falls more into that category, but no configurations for you there. Next, we have the Bednar additional tank here. This is the CS5000. This is just an additional tank capacity for your tools. So toes behind or somewhere else. I don't think, can you hook up stuff to it? You can. So never mind, you can hook up your seeders and stuff to this on the back. But yeah, it's just an additional tank. If we look at it out here again, holds 5,000 liters of either seed or fertilizer. And if you do combinations, it does go with these two things here, which we'll talk about in a second. Those are the next two things we're going to talk about. So, but if we go back into here, configurations for tires, we have Trailerborg, Michelin, Vertestein, and then back to Trailerborg. Additional weight, you have yes or no. So you can add those weights on the front of it right there if you would like to, right over here. So there you go. Now, what this works with is these two guys right here, as I mentioned. So this guy is a subsoiler. So it should work and take care of the plowing state, as well as what you can do with this is you can hook it up to this, and you can do this configuration, do a fertilizer. So you can add fertilizer at the same time, which is pretty cool. So you're getting your plowing state taken care of, and you're adding a layer of fertilizer to your field. So pretty cool to add that on there in terms of a configuration. But this is the Terraland TN 3000 HD7R Profi, $21,000 to buy. It requires 250 horsepower to run, and it weighs 3.4 tons, has a working width of 3 meters, so not very wide, and it runs at 7 miles per hour. Next, we have this guy right here, the Bednar Corsa CN9000, $72,000 to buy. It requires 225 horsepower, weighs 3.3 tons, 9-meter working width at 9 miles per hour. This is a seeder, so it will seed. It's not a direct drill seeder, it just seeds regularly. So you hook it up to this tank, put this guy on the back of it, and then you can go ahead and seed any of your basic crops right there. Now, if we go in here, the only configuration you have is for license plates. But yeah, there we go. Moving on, we have 3 different sprayers here, all by Agrio. So we have the Agrio Mammut XL 8000, $102,000 to buy, 8,000 liter capacity, weighs 5.3 tons, has a width of 27 to, or working width of 27 to 36 meters, runs at 7 miles per hour, and does liquid fertilizer or herbicide. If we go into here, we can do 27 or 30 meters, or 33 or 36. So I also bump that baby up to 36. Trailerborg, you have for Trailerborg, you have narrow. What do you have? Narrow wides. Yeah, just narrow wides on there. Michelin, narrow, wide. Continental, narrow, wide. Midas, just wides. And then BKT, just wides. And then Vertestein, narrows and wides. And I think that's everything up. Then back to the narrows and wides. And then, of course, you can add a license plate on it. Now, this guy right here, this is very similar to this one. Just a little bit bigger. This is the Agrio Gigant 13,500, $165,000 to buy. The main difference between these two is, well, this one weighs more and has a bigger capacity. So 13,500 liter capacity for your liquid fertilizer and herbicide. It weighs 7 tons now instead of 5.3 tons, but still has the same working width range and runs at the same speed, 7 miles per hour. Going here, we have similar customizations for the tires. And then again, you can bump these up by 3-meter increments all the way up to 36. And then you can add a license plate if you'd like. Then finally, we have the Agrio Dino 2. This is $317,000 to buy, self-propelled sprayer. It has 285 horsepower. It will drive at 31 miles per hour, holds 6,600 liters, which is not even as much as this guy. So that's the only thing I think is the downside for this is capacity. It'll hold either herbicide or liquid fertilizer. It weighs 11 tons and has the same working width as the other two sprayers in this pack here, or at least in this section. But it does run at 15 miles per hour now instead of the 7 miles per hour. So I think that's its main advantage. Now, if we go in here, we again can adjust through the different working widths. We can adjust the brands and the tires a little bit, and then we can add a license plate too. Now we are starting to move on to kind of the more exciting stuff. I think the stuff you guys are kind of really excited about, some of the vegetable equipment. So first two things here we have are basically the ridge makers, which is going to improve your yield if you do this before you seed. So first one, this is the Grimmy GF400. It is $28,000 to buy. It runs with, or it requires 160 horsepower to run, weighs 1.8 tons, 3-meter working width at 7 miles per hour. And if I go combinations here, it hooks up to this guy, and we'll talk about that in a second. That's one of the seeders up here. So if we go into the customizations, the only customization we had is 3-point. It already has a 3-point hookup for your tractor, but if we add that, what it allows you to do is hook a seeder up on the back so you can do the seeding at the same time, which is pretty cool, saving you some time. And that's going to be this guy right there, which we'll talk about that one separately in a second. And again, they're both 3-meter working widths, the seeder and this guy. Now we have the Grimmy GF800. It also does the same thing as this in terms of makes the rows on it. Only requires 270 horsepower, 3.9 tons is how much it weighs. 6-meter working width now instead of 3 meters. And it runs at 7 miles per hour, just like this one does. However, the disadvantage to this one is there's no configuration, so you don't have that extra hookup on the back. So this might be worth it to be able to go both of those at the same time and get it all done versus doing this at 6 meters. But totally up to you, because as we move on, you do have a 6-meter planter that you could just run over separately, which would be faster in the long haul anyways. So moving on from there, we have the Converland Mini Air Nova Rigid. This is $12,500 to buy. Requires 50 horsepower, only holds 16 liters of seeds, but that'll go quite a ways for you. It weighs 590 kilograms, 3-meter working width at 6 miles per hour, so it should slow that one down a little bit. And then again, it does your new beet crops, which is carrots, red beets, and parsnips. If we go into here, there's no configurations at all for it. Little cute little seeder for you. There you go. Next, we have the larger seeder. This is the Converland Mini Air Nova Fold, $51,500 to buy. Requires 70 horsepower, 32 liters of seed instead this time. 970 kilograms is how much it weighs. 6-meter working width at 6 miles an hour. Still same speed, just double the working width and double the seed capacity there for you. And then again, it just plants your new root crops, red beets, carrots, and parsnips. If we go into configurations, there are none for this guy. Folds up nicely though. Now we have the harvesters. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 harvesters for your new beet crops. So all of these are harvesting your beet crops. Some of them at different speeds and different advantages. So that's something we'll note as well. But in terms of what they do and where they put the crops, we'll talk about that a little bit. Only a couple of these have actual capacity. So this is one right here. And I believe this, nope, that's the only one with the capacity, actually. Never mind. So yeah, this is the only one with an actual capacity for your crops to go in it. So if you wanted to do that route, you can do that route. But yeah, so in terms of this, let's just run through them real quick. First up, we have the DeWolf, or the Daywolf. I'm going to say it completely wrong, guys. I'm sorry. This DeWolf is how I'm going to call it. It's the P3CL Profi. $39,500 to buy, so the harvester's not that much. Only requires 80 horsepower, weighs 2 tons, 0.8-meter working width, which is basically one row, runs at 4 miles per hour, and does your beet crops. If we go into your configurations, you have a license plate. Now, if we have this one here, we have the DeWolf P3K Profi, $43,000 to buy, 80 horsepower, required 2 tons, 0.8-meter working width at 4 miles per hour, which is identical to this guy right here, but in terms of this, I believe the belt is what's different, because I don't think, yeah, so this one I believe, based on my understanding, is going to load it into pallets, and then the pallets will drop down. This one right here is going to load it just onto the belt and then into someone else who is next to you. So that is my understanding for how those two are going to work. Moving on from there, we have the only one with its own capacity. We have the DeWolf GBC, $101,000 to buy. Only requires 100 horsepower. Holds 5,500 liters, or 5,500 liters, excuse me, of any of the root crops. Weighs 5.5 tons. 0.8-meter working width, again, just one row again. But this one's at 6 miles per hour instead of these guys are all at 4. I think that's, yeah, so these three here are 6 miles an hour. Everyone, including this big one, is all 4 miles per hour in terms of the working speed. But yeah, so this one has its own capacity, the one that does that. You can adjust the tires a little bit and the license plate for you. Moving on, we have the DeWolf GK2S, which is $148,000 to buy. The big benefit here is that this one now doubles your working width. So as you can see in here, it does 2 rows at the same time, which is super cool. And then this one just has a nice little conveyor belt that's going to run them out for you. So no big deal there. And in terms of configurations, just license plate and tires. But yeah, runs at 6 miles an hour. 7.1 tons how much it weighs, only requires 170 horsepower to harvest your root crops. Sorry, I know I'm talking really fast, but I want to try to get out as much information as possible to you guys without making this a 6-hour video. And I think some of you guys will probably appreciate it. Some of you guys maybe not. You can always slow me down below in the YouTube slider bar. But moving back here, we have a 1-row planter again, or excuse me, seeder, or no, good Lord, I can't talk. A 1-row harvester again here. We have the DeWolf GCCI, 170 horsepower required, weighs 8 tons, 0.8 meter working width, so 1 row working width at 6 miles per hour. And then if we go into here, this guy is going to, I believe this is another one that does it into pallets. I could be completely wrong about that, but I think this is a pallet one. Otherwise, it's going to somehow unfold into a way that it's going to get it off. But I think it's going to go down into pallets for you. Next up, we have this guy, the big one. And this, again, no real configurations there. So here we have the DeWolf ZKIVZ, or ZKIVSE. 450 horsepower is how much it has. 15 miles per hour is how fast it drives. Weighs 27.9 tons. 3 meter working width, so it has the widest working width with 4 rows in the front. It runs at 4 miles per hour, so a little bit slower than some of these 6 mile per hour ones. And it does all your root crops. So what this is going to do, if we open it up, root crops are going to get in here, go up here, and then go out this way. So what you can do is hire a worker and then drive alongside and just unload it as you go. It really actually isn't that big of a deal, and will actually make the harvest go fairly quick. So it doesn't take too long. Very similar like silage harvesting, I think, in that way. Next up, we have a couple of different products to move pallets around. We have the WeFo P46B, $1,000. What it does, hooks up to a 3-point and holds pallets, no configurations. Next, we have the WeFo HMZ 343,000, $10,000 to buy. All it's going to do is hook up pallets, and then it allows you to raise them and lower them, but it's all off of a 3-point link as well, which is pretty good. Then we have this guy right here, 2,100 liter bucket, just as a bulk bucket that does anything you want it to do. No configurations for that. And that works for your front loaders, I should say, as well. And then we also have the vegetables pallet, which is going to hold your vegetables. And you can buy them in up to sets of 4, it looks like. So there you go. But that is all of the new stuff in the store. Let's go ahead and take a look, just a quick walk around and take a look at it on the map. So yeah, I'm not going to show off all of it working on here just because I think that would make this video a little bit ridiculous. But we'll kind of take a look at it as we go. So we got our mower setups out here. We also have our nice little tedder. We have our weeders right here as well. New trailer here. Oops, I didn't mean to grab you. Sorry, trailer. Here's all of our uni equipment. So we have the manure spreader. We also have the nice disc harrow here. And then we have ourselves the direct drill seeder, which is nice and long, but not too wide. Then we have our farmette stuff here. We have our big old cultivator, the big one. We have the nice disc harrow there. And then we have my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the pack here, is the direct drill seeder that also does fertilizer at 6 meters. Then we have some Bednar stuff. Of course, we have our little power harrow here. Then we have the seed tank, which hooks up to these two guys here. So we have the one that does the subsoiling and fertilizing, and we have the one that's going to seed stuff for you if you want. So a few cool pieces of equipment there. Then we have ourselves all of our fertilizer sprayers. So we have our herbicide or weeders, however you want to look at it. So you have the smaller tank sprayer here, the bigger tank sprayer here, and then we have the self-propelled sprayer over here, which all of it looks really good. And then moving on from there, we have ourselves a little pickup truck, just a little solid tractor. It's very cute. Then we have, of course, the Zeter and the Fiat here. So one thing I think we will do actually, just for the vehicles that we can get inside, we'll fire them up for you. Horn, nothing too exciting. Lots of lighting equipment on these guys. In cab, oop, let it load here a second. Yeah, in-cab looks great. I haven't loaded in-cab since I've updated my games. That's why I was a little delayed there, but yeah, does what it needs to do, which is pretty sweet. Yeah. Go over to this guy. Looks great. Straps across the back. Unfolds, of course, like any other pickup truck. It actually has a really large bed, which is nice. But the inside of it looks great. Really well detailed, just like with anything else we get. We have, of course, little solid tractor, which also works great. Really cool. I actually like this tractor. Very cool. Other than, I guess I don't really like the center steer, but that's fine other than that. Oop, nope, don't want to get in there. I want to get in the Zeter. Zeter looks great. Nice lighting on it as well. Yeah, we got some good tractors with this pack, I think. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, looks good. Horns aren't terribly exciting at the end of these, but there you go. Yeah. Now we have our kind of root crop equipment here. So we have our couple of different ridge makers here. So this is the small one that you can add the extra 3-point. This one doesn't have that on it. And then you can hook up the cedar, the small cedar, to that one over there. Always you can use the 6-meter ones, the 6-meter equipment here. So pretty good there. And we have our harvesters moving from smallest to largest through here. Again, we got nice 1-row one there, 1-row one there. That one's going to do pallets. This one's going to just come out the belt. Then we have this 1-row guy here, which has the capacity. And we have this 2-row guy here, sorry, that's going to come out that belt and load into something. We have 1-row guy here that's going to do pallets as well. And then we have the big guy here, the 4-row guy, that's going to unfold and go out the conveyor belt into a tractor or something near you, which is cool. Then we have a couple pieces of pallet equipment over here, a bucket, and then the pallet itself. So yeah, that's all the equipment. Now, the buildings, there's quite a few buildings that were added in here to the premium expansion. So under sheds, we have a few things here. So we have this little guy over here in the corner. It's $8,000 to buy. We have this guy here, $15,000 to buy. This guy over here, $27,000 to buy. This guy right here, $30,000 to buy. Then we have this big old guy right here, $50,000 to buy. We of course have the Meridian shed, which is $110,000 to buy, which is pretty cool. And then if we go under farmhouses, we have 3 new farmhouses. So we have this little guy here for 135 grand. We have this kind of medium-sized house here for 175, and this big house here for 245 right there. So a lot of different stuff happening there. And then outside of that, under productions and factories, we do have, if I go over here, we do have ourselves a custom baker right here that is $50,000 to buy. We have a custom dairy point, which is $70,000 to buy. Then, of course, we have our potato processing plant, so we can place more of these down on the map if we'd like to, for $120,000. For $110,000, we can place the preserved food factory, this guy right here. And then we also, of course, have the soup factory, so we can place another soup factory for $135,000. And then finally, we have the custom spinnery right here. Now, the piano shop, I haven't tested this to be able to build pianos at it in this configuration, but you can place it as a sell point. So I'm assuming since I placed it, I own it, and I should be able to build pianos. And I will test this when I do my piano video. So there you guys go. But yeah, there's all that in there. Then under animals, we actually have a couple things as well. Under, is it pigs? Yeah, pigs. We have a custom pig pen here. It holds 25 pigs. It's this guy right here for $44,000. Chickens, we have a couple of chicken pens. We have this guy right here, which will hold 20 chickens, this big building here. And this guy out here, the smaller one, is actually more expensive. It's 30 grand, holds 20 chickens there, which is kind of interesting. Same chickens, just smaller building? I don't know. But anyhow, so you have that stuff there. And then under decoration, I didn't place this stuff out because there's a ton of it. But if you just scroll a little bit here, we have a ton, starting from here, of premium stuff. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. See why I didn't place it? 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 different gates, fences, and all that good stuff, which is impressive to say the least. And some of these look real cool. Like if I was to place like this guy down, that guy looks incredible. I really like the look of that one there. Or even, I mean, there's some good fences in here, which I think is pretty cool. So I think a lot of you guys will really enjoy some of the new fences that are in there. And then under lighting, we have all sorts of lighting as well. We have a whole bunch. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different lights for the premium. And then our decoration or others, we have some different little sheds and shacks. We have 4 different ones we can place down if we'd like to as well, which is pretty cool. And I believe the garage doors open on these. They're almost like little oh, what am I saying here? Little sheds. But yeah, so there you go. And then under landscaping, under painting, there are a couple of new textures, it looks like. I believe those are new. I could be wrong about that. This one I believe is new though. Trees, I don't know if there's any premium ones. There are. So there's some new premium trees in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 different premium trees. Now, yeah, so some of these are similar to what we have already, but they're a little bit different. So it gives you a little bit more ability to customize what you have going on, which I think is pretty cool. Plants, we have plenty of, I mean, I'm not even going to go through them. There's a ton in here for premium. All these are premium custom to this map. So, yeah, there's a ton of new stuff in terms of that. But let's take a look around some of these new sheds. The other buildings you can't go on or anything. And so, actually the production chains I'm going to cover in a separate video. But the sheds, these are cool to take a look at here. Nice shed there. Of course, you can open this door as well. Like that. And I believe all of this stuff will open up on this shed as well. Little shed garage there. Little table in here. Can you pick this up? No, you can't. They're there. They're there. But yeah, little storage room there. For roleplay or whatever you wanted to do. Store some pallets in there. Do it however you'd like to do it. Can you open that up as well? Oh, that'd be kind of cool if you can open that. Next up, we got this guy. And there. Just kind of a single room unit, pretty much, with a nice back room in there. And then finally, I have this guy, which this guy, from what I can tell, this is the only way to get in and out of it, and you can't access the little side room over there. But I could be wrong. I could be missing something, but you do have lights in there, which is nice. So, yeah, there you go. That is all the buildings, all the equipment, all that. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys or informative in some way. But if you guys enjoyed, please drop a like down below if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any future videos I may post. This has been Farmer Cop. Thank you guys for coming and for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.